Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the annals of time, unraveling the mysteries of our collective past. Today, we find ourselves in the midst of a most pivotal moment in American history, as we delve into the fascinating tale of the Boston Tea Party. This iconic event, which took place on a chilly winter's night in 1773, was a spark that ignited the flames of revolution, shaping the course of a nation's destiny. As we set our gaze upon the horizon of history, let us begin by tracing the earliest threads of this momentous occasion. The Boston Tea Party was not an isolated incident, but rather the culmination of years of growing tensions between the British government and the American colonies. To understand the origins of this event, we must travel back in time to the early 1760s, when the British government, seeking to pay off debts incurred during the French and Indian War, began to impose a series of taxes on its American colonies. One of the first taxes to be imposed was the Sugar Act of 1764, which placed duties on sugar, wine, and other goods imported into the colonies. This act was met with widespread opposition from colonial merchants and traders, who argued that it would harm their businesses and infringe upon their rights as British subjects. The Massachusetts General Court, the legislative body of the colony, responded to the Sugar Act by issuing a resolution condemning the tax and asserting the colonists' right to a say in their own governance. As we walk through the historic streets of Boston, we find ourselves in the midst of a bustling commercial center, with ships arriving and departing from the harbor, carrying goods from all over the world. The city was a hotbed of political activity, with patriots like Samuel Adams, James Otis, and John Hancock leading the charge against British taxation. In 1765, the Stamp Act was passed, requiring colonists to pay a tax on printed materials such as newspapers, documents, and even playing cards. This act sparked widespread protests and boycotts throughout the colonies, with Boston at the forefront of the resistance. The Boston Town Meeting, a gathering of local leaders and citizens, played a significant role in mobilizing opposition to the British taxes. On May 24, 1764, the meeting issued a resolution condemning the Sugar Act and asserting the colonists' right to a say in their own governance. This resolution, penned by James Otis, was one of the first formal expressions of colonial resistance to British rule. The town meeting continued to be a powerful force in Boston politics, with leaders like Samuel Adams using it as a platform to rally support for the Patriot cause. As we delve deeper into the historical context, we find that the tensions between the colonies and Great Britain continued to escalate throughout the 1760s. The Townshend Acts of 1767, which imposed taxes on goods such as glass, paint, and paper, further galvanized opposition to British rule. In response, the colonists organized boycotts of British goods and began to develop their own system of non-importation agreements. The Massachusetts Circular Letter, issued by Samuel Adams and James Otis in 1768, was a call to action that urged other colonies to join Massachusetts in resisting British taxation. The year 1770 saw the arrival of British troops in Boston, who were sent to enforce the taxes and maintain order in the city. This move only served to further inflame tensions between the colonists and the British, culminating in the Boston Massacre of March 5, 1770, in which 5 colonists were killed by British soldiers. The event was widely publicized and helped to galvanize opposition to British rule throughout the colonies. As we pause to reflect on these events, we find ourselves at the threshold of a new era, one that would be marked by courage, conviction, and the unyielding pursuit of freedom. The stage was set for the dramatic events that would unfold in December 1773, when a group of brave colonists, disguised as Native Americans, boarded British ships and cast their cargo of tea into the harbor, forever changing the course of American history. Join me as we embark on this thrilling journey and uncover the secrets of one of the most iconic moments in the annals of time. Welcome back to our journey through the annals of time, as we explore the pivotal events that shaped the course of American history. As we delve deeper into this momentous occasion, let us examine the complex web of factors that contributed to the outbreak of rebellion in Boston. The year 1773 was a time of great tension and upheaval in the colonies, with the British government's imposition of taxes on goods such as tea, glass, and paint further galvanizing opposition to British rule. One of the key figures who played a significant role in mobilizing opposition to the British taxes was Samuel Adams, a Boston politician and leader of the Sons of Liberty. Adams was a master strategist and organizer who used his charisma and persuasive abilities to rally support for the Patriot cause. He was instrumental in organizing protests and boycotts against British goods, and his writings and speeches helped to galvanize public opinion against British rule. Another key figure who played a significant role in the events leading up to the Boston Tea Party was John Hancock, a wealthy merchant and smuggler who was also a leader of the Sons of Liberty. Hancock was a courageous and flamboyant figure who was not afraid to take risks and challenge authority. He was one of the first signers of the Declaration of Independence, and his famous signature has become an iconic symbol of American patriotism. As we explore the events leading up to the Boston Tea Party, we find that the colonists' resistance to British rule was not limited to protests and boycotts. Many colonists, including Samuel Adams and John Hancock, were involved in smuggling and other forms of clandestine activity, which helped to undermine British authority and fuel the growing rebellion. On the night of December 16, 1773, a group of approximately 100 colonists, disguised as Native Americans, boarded 3 British ships in Boston Harbor: the Dartmouth, the Beaver, and the Eleanor. The ships were carrying cargoes of tea worth thousands of pounds, which the colonists saw as a symbol of British tyranny and oppression. Under the leadership of Samuel Adams and other Sons of Liberty, the colonists quickly and efficiently threw the tea into the harbor, using axes and other tools to break open the chests and dump the contents into the water. The event was carried out with remarkable precision and discipline, and it marked a major turning point in the history of American resistance to British rule. The Boston Tea Party was not just an act of vandalism or protest. It was a carefully planned and executed act of defiance, which challenged British authority and asserted the colonists' right to self-governance. The event sent shockwaves throughout the colonies, and it helped to galvanize support for the Patriot cause. In the aftermath of the Boston Tea Party, the British government responded with a series of coercive measures, known as the Coercive Acts, which were designed to punish the colonists and reassert British authority. However, these measures only served to further inflame tensions and strengthen the resolve of the Patriots. As we pause to reflect on these events, we find ourselves at the threshold of a new era, one that would be marked by courage, conviction, and the unyielding pursuit of freedom. The Boston Tea Party was a pivotal moment in American history, which helped to shape the course of the Revolution and pave the way for the creation of a new nation. Join me as we continue this thrilling journey through the annals of time and uncover the secrets of one of the most iconic moments in American history. Welcome back to our journey through the annals of time, as we explore the aftermath of the Boston Tea Party and the events that led up to the outbreak of war in 1775. As we delve deeper into this tumultuous period, let us examine the British government's response to the Boston Tea Party. The Coercive Acts, also known as the Intolerable Acts, were a series of laws passed by Parliament in 1774, designed to punish the colonists and reassert British authority. These acts included the closure of the port of Boston, the quartering of British soldiers in the homes of colonists, and the trial of colonists in Britain for crimes committed in the colonies. One of the key figures who played a significant role in shaping the British government's response to the Boston Tea Party was Lord North, the Prime Minister of Great Britain. North was a staunch supporter of British authority and saw the colonists as rebellious subjects who needed to be brought back in line. He believed that the coercive acts would help to crush the growing rebellion and restore order in the colonies. However, The coercive acts had the opposite effect. They galvanized opposition to British rule and helped to unite the colonies against a common enemy. The colonists saw the acts as a direct attack on their rights and liberties, and they responded with outrage and defiance. The First Continental Congress, which met in Philadelphia in 1774, was a direct response to the coercive acts, and it marked an important step towards independence. As tensions escalated, the colonists began to prepare for war. The Massachusetts Provincial Congress, led by John Hancock and Samuel Adams, started to organize a militia and stockpile arms and ammunition. The British government, meanwhile, sent more troops to Boston, which only served to further inflame tensions. In April 1775, the first shots of the American Revolution were fired at Lexington and Concord, marking the beginning of a long and bloody conflict. The war would go on to last for 8 years, pitting the colonists against the British Army and its allies. It was a war that would test the mettle of the colonists, push them to their limits, and ultimately shape the course of American history. As we reflect on these events, we are reminded of the words of Thomas Paine, who wrote in his influential pamphlet Common Sense that the fate of the colonies is not to be determined by the British Parliament, but by the colonists themselves. The Boston Tea Party and the coercive acts were just 2 milestones on the long road to independence, a journey that would require courage, conviction, and perseverance. Join me as we continue this thrilling journey through the annals of time and uncover the secrets of one of the most pivotal moments in American history. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.